Man, listen up. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I understand who you are. I understand where you are. Why? Because I was there before. I didn't always have things given to me on a silver platter. Things didn't always seem as good as they are right now. I know what it's like to feel like I'm broken. I know what it's like to feel like there's nothing out there for me, or to feel like I'm unappreciated. And if that's where you are right now, what I need you to do is I need you to grab that, shake it up, and get rid of it. Because there's something bigger and better for you. I'm just trying to open up your eyes to it. Everybody do this. Reach out and pretend like you grab a jar. Now take the top of that jar and I want you to take that jar and I want you to shake it up. Like if there's something in there that you just gotta get shaken up. Shake it up right now. Go ahead and shake it. Okay, now sit that jar in front of you and I want you to just twist the top off of that jar right now. Twist it off. Now what you've just done is you've reached and you've taken the top off of the lid to your potential. Now what I want you to do is I want you to take this jar, put it over your head and pour it all over you. Rub it in if you have to, like lotion or something. Because what I gotta do is I gotta get your potential all over you. I gotta get it to where your potential is running down the side of your face and it's touching your chin and it's on your arms and you can rub it in on your hands. Because if I can get your potential on the outside of you, then now you can see what I see that I know is on the inside of you. You are destined for greatness. You are meant to do great things. How dare you sit there and let all that potential go to waste? What are your dreams? What's been stopping you from your dreams? I'll tell you, it's been yourself. So look yourself in the eye and say, you can't stop me. Now tell yourself, I was built for this. No, tell yourself, I was built for this. I was made to last. This is what I was meant for. Now what I want you to do is I want you to quit sleeping and dreaming. See, my great-grandma told me this. She said nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. And if you sit there and that dream just sits there, it's going to spoil. So you need to get up and get out there and make something happen. If you ever wondered if you had it on the inside of you, I'm telling you now, greatness is there. It's been waiting for you since day one. Open the door, let greatness in, grab her by the hand, and go get your destiny. You were not built to be a failure. You were built to last. Now get out there and go do something.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Jarvis here, and you are with me on Go Do Something Live. I have a very special Go Do Something Live tonight. I'll tell you about it in just a second, but I want you to take the time to go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe. Yes, that's right. It's Jarvis Henderson TV on YouTube. Make sure you follow on all the social media platforms, IG, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. We even gonna get on Periscope, y'all. Yeah, we're gonna go to Periscope because there's some old folks that need to know what's popping, that need to know what's up. But I just want you guys to know that you are absolutely amazing. You have greatness on the inside of you. I know that I often start with one of my motivational videos that are snippets of things that I've talked about and things that I've done and things that I've said over time. And I want each and every one of you to know that it's intentional. The whole purpose of Go Do Something is to empower you, to inspire you, to motivate you, to get you up off of your butt out there into this world, touching the lives of the people around you. You have to be the greatest. No, I'll say it like this. If you want to be the greatest, this is what you got to do. You have to impact the lives of the people around you in a positive way. And you do that by serving. See, I've learned that the serving is the greatest. And because the serving is the greatest, I want to serve at every given opportunity that I have. So let me go ahead and get us started. You know, here at Go Do Something Live, Go Do Something, we impact lives, we cross barriers, and guess what else? We unite cultures. And today we're going to talk about something that's been going on in pop culture. Actually, a few things that have been going on in pop culture. You heard about the drama. You heard about the third person. Let me go back and do my own reaction video. You heard about the different things on Instagram. And yes, I am talking about Derrick Jackson. So because I'm talking about Derrick Jackson, that's who I have as my guest today. I have the real Derrick Jackson here as my guest today. I figured it will be a great opportunity to sit and talk with the real Derrick Jackson to find out how he feels. Because we've seen Derrick Jackson, but we haven't seen the real Derrick Jackson. See, and I would think that with all of the things that have been said, he feels some kind of way about how his name is being drugged and how things have happened and how things have gone sideways and they've gone left. Now, I am a man who believes in second chances. Matter of fact, I believe in third chances. Matter of fact, just because I'm crazy enough to stand on my faith, I believe that I got to love you 70 times 7. And I'm not going to take the time to keep count. So that means that I'm going to keep forgiving you and I'm going to keep loving you. But you are in for a treat today because I really do have the real Derrick Jackson on here with me today. And we're going to have a great conversation. So you need to stick around. Make sure that you stay tuned. We're going to talk about some things that are really going to impact your life. They're going to touch your heart. This is a conversation between two Black men, just being transparent, vulnerable, being honest, open, transparent. You know, I like to say, keep it hot, honest, open, transparent. Don't steal it, but you can use it all the time. But that's what it's all about, man. So welcome to Go Do Something Live. You know, this is your boy Jarvis here. And just so you know, I have been given the nickname, AKA Mr. Impact. You see it because I'm all about impacting lives. And today we are about to impact your life. So without any further ado, let me go ahead and bring into the scope, into the screen, the one, the only, the real Derrick Jackson. So will the real Derrick Jackson please stand? What's up, my guy? What's up? What's up? Hold on, let me unmute you. My bad. What's up, man?
Coolin', man. You know it. You know it.
Yo, I can feel it right now. Like it's almost like everybody all at once was just like, wait.
Yeah, is that going? Nah, that's not him.
Is that Derrick Jackson? He looked a little lighter. Is that? But you are the real Derrick Jackson.
Oh,
you know that, if I'm not mistaken, that's your IG name, right?
Yeah, that's my IG name, my birth name. Yeah. No,
okay. So Derrick Jackson, you are Derrick Jackson. Let's make sure that the world understands. So are you Derrick Jackson? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is Derrick Jackson on your license?
Yes, sir.
Is Derrick Jackson on your birth certificate?
My birth certificate, all that, man, all that.
Hey, that's all. Hey, listen, that's all we need to know, Shotty. You the real Derrick Jackson, and tell everybody what your IG is.
My IG is the real. You can catch me on the real Derrick Jackson, the real DRRICK Jackson.
Okay, so now that we have made everybody aware and helped them understand that you are actually the real Derrick Jackson, man, let's have a great conversation. So there's all this controversy around what Derrick Jackson did, the other Derrick Jackson.
Yeah.
The J, I don't even know how to spell it, but how do you feel about that, bro? Like, I mean, you carry the name Derrick Jackson. And you are, let me help everybody understand, you're a public speaker, right?
Mm-hmm, sure.
What are some of the other things you have? Come on, talk to us. Let us know.
Now, I'm really into the youth a lot. You know what I mean? I love giving back to the youth. You know what I mean? And touching people who going through life experiences such as I. You know what I mean? And using my testimony as a way to let people know and to motivate people who in that dark place, who in the rough situations that. You know what I mean? God got a plan for you, and it's a purpose behind everything you're going through. You know what I mean?
Right. So being Derrick Jackson, the public speaker, Derrick Jackson, the youth advocate, Derrick Jackson, the father, Derrick Jackson, the boyfriend, there's so many parts to you. How do you feel about all this controversy that's going on around Derrick Jackson?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been following. I don't follow the dude technically, but like he's a well-influenced person on social media. So like I've stumbled across his videos and stuff like that, and I took a chance to listen. You know what I mean to him. But when it comes to like people who in a place to like giving like advice, like especially like relationship advice, it's like nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? So it's like, in the closet, it's only a matter of time before like. The things you're doing in the dark, God gonna reveal to the light. You know what I mean? Especially when you're dealing with souls out here and you giving people advice on situations to help them through. But you know what I mean? We're not perfect, man. It's just a matter of time, man. I hope the brother really learned from this situation. You know what I mean? That the people that he influenced, that put their trust into him, that he kind of like broke that slightly. You know what I mean? Like that's between him and the Lord and those relationships, but. You know what I mean? God said, put no trust in man. You know what I mean? Count every man as a liar. So we're not perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So now tell me, like, has this affected you at all? Like, do you run into issues sometimes when you're trying to get speaking engagements where people are like they kind of second look at Derrick Jackson, or have you gotten any traction behind this? Like, how has it affected you? Because it's the same name. You guys are kind of in the same lane. Like, how has this affected you, man?
Basically, like, it hasn't really affected me, like, as far as like my speaking engagements, and it just little stuff, like little people make jokes about it, like they see me on live and they'll say a little joke like, "Hey, man, you got caught stumbling up," like, you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, that's not me, man. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the real Derrick Jackson. Like, not to throw any shade towards him, you know what I mean? But I just try to make that distinctive difference between me and him. You know what I mean? Like,
Got you.
yeah, it hasn't really affected that much. Just little laughing jokes and stuff. People hit me up and stuff in the DM saying little stuff. But
okay. Well, let me tell you, man, I put out that I was having an interview today with the real Derrick Jackson. And I got to tell you, I got a lot of people who hit me up like, yo, how did you get him to sit down and talk with you? And I was like, man, you just got to wait and see. You know, there was, I know that some people may be like, oh, come on, man, this ain't Derrick Jackson. No, this is really the real Derrick Jackson. And so those who are close to me, I let them know. I was like, yo, listen, there is another Derrick Jackson out there who's doing a lot of great stuff. And, you know, he's a great man. And he actually hit me up in my DMs, and we connected off of the DMs. And I just asked him if he wouldn't mind coming on, go do something live and having this conversation. So they're like, yo, that's yo, you know, so it's, I know there's a lot of controversy around the name, and just to give you my perspective on it, you know, like I said, I believe in forgiving people. I believe in giving people second, third, fourth chances, fifth chances, because quite honestly, you know, who would we be if we didn't make mistakes? Now, what that person does after they make the mistakes, that's really what matters. That's really what counts. You know, if you come into it with a repentant heart, you know, are you going to stand on that and make a change, or are you going to come in and try to convince the world that you really didn't do it? You know, I noticed that the last couple videos that he posted, he pulled them down. And I think that whoever advised him to do so did a great thing, because it really raised more of a ruckus than anything. Those people who were supporting and believing in him, I know that I was supporting and believing in his apology. Like, it kind of struck me as odd to see like extra stuff. And I'm like, yo, that's kind of nice, narcissistic. You know, I know that you're a great dude. You've impacted so many people, but there's got to be a thing about our character keeping us when we get to the places where we're going to get a lot of attention. And, you know, I'm praying for the brother. Anybody who's made those types of slip ups, those mistakes, those bad choices, whatever you want to call it, male or female, it doesn't matter. I just keep them covered in prayer, you know, and I just hope that they learn from their mistakes, because you got to move forward. Life has got to keep going. And when you're on these platforms, man, they expect so much out of you. And when you fall, it's almost like they're like, well, you should never fall, but they forget that they fell 20 times last week, right?
Right.
So I don't ever want to find myself in that situation where I'm dragging somebody, because it could have very easily been me. It could have very easily been you.
Right.
So helping everybody understand you. I know you have a son. Your son is 6 years old. Tell us about your little man. Holla at me.
My man Jarvis, man, that's my heart right there, man. You know what I mean? My father, me coming from like not a single parent household, but my parents were married together. When I came up, they ended up getting a divorce or whatever. So like, I was always in two separate households, my mother's household and my father's side, you know what I mean? And my father was a provider, you know what I mean? He struggled with drug addiction real bad, but he was a provider, you know what I mean? Like, the thing about it, I had to like sit back and realize that as I got older, I grew. I had a lot of more respect for him, but it's a lot of things that damage, that pain caused, that led up to me as I got older. You know what I mean? So it made it hard for me to believe people when they say they're gonna do something. So my father used to always say, "I'm gonna take you to Chuck E. Cheese. I'm gonna take you this place," and I would be out looking at the blinds and looking through the balcony and stuff, and wait till I see his car, and he would never show up. You know what I mean? And it's like, when people tell me something through the years, when people tell me something, I'd be like, "You gonna do this, right? You gonna stay on top of it. You remember, right? You remember." And it kind of made people like, "Bro, like, chill, bro. Like, I got you." And it made me to a person that just was always anxious for some reason. You know what I mean? But I promised myself, and I told God that if you know what I mean, when he blessed me with a son or a child, that I will pick up in the areas that, you know what I mean, my father kind of lacked in. So
Yeah.
that's my heart, man. Like, I'm not a perfect father. You never really learn how to be a parent. You every day, like even if you're 60 years old, you still learning how to be a parent. Like every day is
Okay.
thing you learn something different. You know what I mean? But
Man, let's talk about that for a minute. So, as for me, I grew up in a single parent home, and so, to be faced with fatherhood, uh, was a scary thought, just the thought itself that had been scary for so long. And then I realized that there's so many young men in this world and so many young children in this world, who they've been lacking that father figure. And I've embraced so many. So to be in a position to be a father, to be in a position to be able to cover and to pray for and to give to, and to guide, I believe that it's a very special place. Fathers are important. They're very important. They help construct the mind of the child. And I hate that we live in a system where it's kind of been set up to push fathers out of the home. You know, if you know anything about the welfare system, right?
yeah,
A woman with multiple children gets more money if there's a man that's not in the house. And so it kind of in their mind, it's like, who do you want the dependency to be? Do you want to rely on that man to be there in your life, or do you want to rely on the money? And unfortunately, so many times people choose the money over the man, and it sucks, bro. It sucks because it's a systematic thing that's put in place that pushes, especially Black men, out of the home when they really need to be in the home. So I applaud you, bro. I know when we were talking, you live in the same area where your son is, and you were just kind of like, man, I gotta get my son, and you were excited about it. And I applaud that, man. Definitely applaud that. So that's awesome. Yeah. So I want to help people understand a little bit more about you. So you do the public speaking, you're a father, and I'm pretty sure the ladies are watching, and they want to know, is this Derrick Jackson in a relationship? And if so, is he loyal in his relationship? So let's cancel the myths, man. Holla at me. Let them know.
I'm in a relationship right now. You know what I mean? Going on 6 months now.
Okay.
I had a child out of wedlock. You know what I mean? We all had those relationships where you stick around and you try to make things work, knowing that that's not a relationship that God wants you in. You know what I mean?
I got you.
Through that situation, I got a beautiful son. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to live right. I just wanted to live right through God with God. You know what I mean? I wanted to be in right things with the Lord. So I've been celibate for almost going on 4 years, man.
My G.
You know what I mean? So
I got.
I'm really serious about this walk. You know what I mean? And when you asking for something from the Lord, you can't just say, "Oh, I want this type of female." You know what I mean? Vice versa. I want this type of male. You gotta become what you asking the Lord to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He blessed me with a young lady that, you know what I mean, that's on the same path as me. You know what I mean? So we got the same common goal to please the Lord and wait till we married to have sex and to come with that bond. You know what I mean? And it's a struggle. You know what I mean? When you end up growing a bond with somebody and you love somebody and you physically attracted to them, it's hard to you know what I mean?
I got you.
Hands off, I should say, but you gotta take a lot of prayer, a lot of fasting, man, and a lot of honesty with God. You know what I mean? And
I got you.
That now, my love life, man. I'm thankful for her. She's a beautiful person, and I'm in love with her spirit, who she is, and the inside, outside. Just
man,
wow. Wait, man, struggle.
Hey, that's good, my G. That is good. I would say that is a very mature approach, and you've said a lot of things about your faith. And so that lets us know that you are a man who is a man of faith. And that is a good thing, man. That's a great thing, because you have a place to kind of rack your values on and say, this is what I'm going to do. And this is how I'm going to move forward, and I appreciate you for your honesty and your transparency, man. So thank you for sharing that with us. So I keep hearing the accent in there. Let us know where you from, and where.
I'm from DMV, from Maryland, DC, DMV. I'm really from Riverdale. I was raised in Riverdale. I grew up in Largo. I went to Largo High School. It's not a big city, but it's an inner city. You know what I mean? It's not the suburbs, but it's you know
I got you.
I mean, but it's probably 15, 20 minutes from DC. But it's the area though, so everything is right there in the tri-state. So
Okay, so you repping today for the DMV area.
For sure, Maryland all day, DC all day. You know what I mean?
It had to be something. You was either gonna say Joe or you was gonna say
Joe, Mo.
But
You know
yeah, so
about
my man is in the DC area holding it down, man. So
Yeah.
with your speaking, man, like how long have you been speaking?
I've been speaking going on, I would say, about 5 years.
Okay.
Normally I just do like little stuff with a coach named Coach Pettis or whatever. He's from Largo.
Okay.
He a well-known coach or whatever. Like, so whenever they would have like speaking engagements, I would reach out to him. He would let me know. I would go just anywhere where I fit in, just trying to speak for free. Just any
Yeah.
place that has the opportunity for me to talk to people. You know what I
got
mean? That was there, but nothing really major on a big platform right now. But I'm
Yeah.
still trusting God that He opened the door for me. You know what I mean? And use my
Yeah.
testimony to
Hey, bro, I got to get you in as one of my clients, man. I know I got you on here as one of my guests, but I got to get you as one of my clients so we can elevate that platform for you,
sure.
man. I'm all about it. You
Yeah.
know, definitely all about it. So I'm very happy to hear that. And that's the way you got to start off. You know, you make a connection. So is this like an old basketball coach of yours or a football coach?
Old basketball. He's a coach for Largo High School, actually.
Okay. All right. He coaches basketball or football? Or both?
Basketball.
Okay. Okay. All right. So he in your face. Like he got his team and it's like go, 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 go. So okay. All right. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And it's good that you're showing him love. So shout out to you, coach, out there making way for this young man who is out here impacting lives and making a difference. We absolutely love it. So now that we're talking about, you know, your speaking and talking to the youth, what are some issues or some things that are just passion points for you that you like to address when dealing with the youth? Like, what are some things that if you were, let's say we were on right now and we were virtual with, you know, thousands of young people, what are some things, some life things that you would be focused on trying to share with them?
Basically, to have a backup plan. Don't, you know what I mean? And you could be the main thing that I try to stress to the youth right now, because the whole world, most of the majority of the youth is influenced by music. You know what I mean? So it's like I want them to have a talent and have a dream, but also to have a backup plan. Like, it's all right to be a doctor, it's all right to be a lawyer, or you know what I mean? I'll be an entrepreneur. You don't have to be a rapper, you know what I mean? And me having the background from rapping, like really rapping, you know what I mean? I've been rapping for almost since 2002. You know what I mean? And I end up, as far as my rap career, I end up stumbling across meeting with DMX. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he heard my mixtape, and I was 17, and I was still ripping and running the streets like crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Calling my phone, like, you know what I mean? I want to sign you. I want to sign you. I got the contracts. And the lady from Miss Steinberg from Def Jam, she's calling my phone. Like, we got the contract ready, $1.4 million. I'm like, I'm 17, $1.4 million. Like, I'm getting big headed, not knowing, like, you know what I mean, the opportunity that's in front of me, and I'm just still ripping and running. But God was protecting me in the midst of that. You know what I mean? So I look back at the industry now, it's like that it's a crazy game. It's not about talent. You know what I mean? It's a very wicked industry, and it's how far you willing to go for your fame and money. You know what I mean? So that's what I try to focus on when it comes to the youth.
So I want to jump in right there. I know that was good. So you were talking about, you know, and we'll talk about with DMX and everything, because I know that you built that relationship with him.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that the other day where I called you. You were just like, man, and it was before anything even hit the news about what had happened. So you're like, man, do you know what's been going on? And I'm just like, nah. And you're like, man, with Earl. And I'm like, Earl? You know, you're like, oh yeah, DMX. So, you know, people don't have those conversations and mention it like that if they don't have like that interconnection. So I definitely want to get your perspective and things on that in just a moment. But talking about your music, one of the things that I've experienced being around a lot of people who are in the industry, traveling with artists, and you know, one of my closest friends is a huge gospel artist, Reese, and I've been able to be in different environments on different platforms, at different radio stations, in different radio shows. And you mentioned that the industry is not so much about your talent; it's about the money and what comes behind the money, and who can put out the most money, who can bring in the most money. So with you, you've been rapping since 17, and to see what's going on, like, how do you feel about the current industry? I know we were talking about, encouraging students to be like, hey, it's not necessarily about the music. It's about what are you going to be in life? So what can you say? How do you feel about the way that the industry is running now?
The industry is like I said, it's more so like how far and what you're willing to do. Like back in the day when I was rapping, like it was solely kind of about talent. It wasn't like more so about like what streams are you trying to go to, or how are you gonna get to this money, or who you willing to, what I mean, to sneak out to do this to get to this point. But
Yeah,
as the game shift now, I just hear like a lot of deaf music. You know what I mean? It's a lot of
yeah,
music that's promoted out here. And like, music has a spirit behind it. So it's like, even in the gospel industry, a lot of
yeah,
gospel artists and a lot of gospel rappers that I see, you know what I mean? They're rapping about the Lord, but the spirit behind it is not of God. You know what I mean? It's like they're still trying to straddle the fence with the world and the kingdom. You know what I mean? And
Ooh, that's tough, bro.
yeah, so it's like I see it. You know what I mean? Like I don't condemn people. You know what I mean? Because God, you got a gift. God gave it to you. Just
Right.
got to use it right. You know what I mean? Because people, it's okay to look how you want to look as long as you're not living for the world and you're not doing things for the world. Because God, who you are, God might change you to be a totally different person on the inside. That don't
Yeah,
mean He will change your appearance and how you dress or like how you talk. You know what I mean? That's why I don't judge people who are in a great spiritual place with the Lord. They might not look like that. They might
right.
not be the churchy type. They might be thugged out, gangster tattoos all over their face, but they got a relationship with God. You know what I mean? And they got the Holy Spirit with them. You know what I mean?
You know, I gotta give a shout out to my dude, Weston Shouty. I don't know if you heard about him, but this young man is like legit. He is a rapper. Started off in the secular arena. He's in the Christian arena, and he's got to be one of the most fire Christian rappers I've ever seen. Such a
Mouth.
such a strong heart. Now, here's the thing that throws people off. This man comes out of his shirt at almost every event, but it's not for show. It's just that he's just so passionate about the word that he's delivering. That's just how he presents, and sometimes when people are, and this is what I've learned, sometimes when people are, they have when they have a personal position on what they feel certain music should be, they'll put people in a box, and you kind of touched on it a little bit where you'll say, like, you see people that they're out there and they're rapping and they say like they're Christian rappers and those things, but their intentions are all wrong. Like they're not in it to empower people. They're not in it to bring people back to a loving father. They're not in it for those reasons. They're in it just for the ducats, trying to get the money. And then there's those, because everybody blends in. And it's crazy because when you said that, a lot of people, I'm sure that they thought about the Lecrae's, the KBs, like the people who are like rapping hard, like that are hitting it, the Sevens, the Bizzles, and they try to hit these rappers like, well, that's why you shouldn't be doing that. But the reality is it's not those kinds of artists, Christian artists, that have those heart issues. It's the artists that are standing in the front row of the church, singing, leading the choir, the ones that you would least expect. I'm gonna tell you a story, man. Story. Me and Uncle Reese, I was traveling with Uncle Reese as his road pastor, and we were somewhere, and a guy pulled him aside and was like, "Yo, so what do you believe in?" And so Reese is talking to him, letting him know, like, I believe in Jesus, I believe in this, I believe in that. He's just giving him the word. And Buddy came back to him, and I don't want to say where we were, but it was a radio concert that they were doing, an outdoor concert, and Buddy hit him back and was like, man, I don't even believe in this Jesus thing. I'm just doing it because it's a money avenue.
That's
like
crazy.
that. And I'm like, yo. So when he told me, I was like, what did you say to him? He's like, yeah, bro, let's talk. And I love how he handled it, where he just set it up for them to be able to talk. But then you have these ones out here that, my boys, my brothers that are really grinding. Like you got Canton Jones that's out here killing the game. You got, like I said, Lecrae, Trip Lee, Bizzle. You have Uncle Reese. There's an artist out here. His name is Glow. This young man is amazing. These cats, the music it's catchy. And one of the things that I've learned about the music industry is that there's a sound, and there's a sound that's going to catch people's ears. And you kind of touched on it. You said a lot of the music that's out here now is really talking about death. And that's true. And it's because, death, sex, drugs, people, they are singing about what sells. And it may not even be their lifestyle. So when you're talking to young people and you say, well, what do you want? I want to be a rapper. They want to be a rapper because they watch that music video. And in that music video, buddy flashing all this money, talking about, I got da, 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 da. And really, that's show money.
Right.
That's to make the video look good. They rent those cars a lot of times that are in those videos, right? So that's crazy that you brought that up, you know, and I've seen it from every angle. So I encourage people, when you've been given a platform, we've all been given a platform to reach people, whether it's music, whether it's sports, whether it's talking, whether it's art, whether it's acting. It's all about what you do when you're on your platform. How do you impact and influence those people? Since we're on music, just recently, the situation with Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
I love Lil Man. Even when the first song came out, Old Town Road, little kids were singing it. I was like, you know, that's not a little kid song. Like that has nothing to do with little kids. I remember saying that to a lot of people, and I was like, it's catchy, but I just wouldn't let my kids sing it, honestly. Right. Because it's talking about the dude cheating on his wife, right? So Lil Nas X comes out with the Satan shoes, the 666s, right? And his thing is he did it because he wanted to just lash out at people who had came at him for his lifestyle, you know. And it's unfortunate that those people who came at him for his lifestyle were people who call themselves believers, call themselves Christians. And I bring this up because it's, if we can take our platforms and positively influence people through love, that's what it's about, right? Like we got to love people, you know, be non-judgmental. Nobody's perfect. I will never say that I'm perfect. I couldn't tell you how many mistakes that I've made in my life, but I strive to be a better me every single day. You know, and so for somebody like Lil Nas X, you know, my heart went out to him and I was like, oh, you lost me, bro. I wanted to support your cause. I wanted to do this. But the minute you put Satan on it, I was like, so, but it's when you hear why he did it more so out of hurt, you know, and that's kind of what I got from it. It was because, you know, people in the church were telling me he's going to hell, calling him the devil anyway, because he chooses to live a certain lifestyle. Listen, man, your sexual orientation, and this is, Lil Nas X, if you watch this, I don't care nothing about your sexual orientation, bro. I don't care nothing about decisions you make. All I care about is loving you the way that God would love you, and then always being here to be an example of what God's love looks like, so that if you ever make that decision and you come down to that choice, that you understand that it's real and it's a real love. It's not about a religion, it's about a relationship. And have your relationship with God, and what you choose to do after that point, that's between you and God. It has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? So just want to drop that out there, man, because it was something that popped in my head when you said that. So let's dig into you a little more, man. Let's dig into you a little more. So you have a past, you have a history. And you told me you used to be a gangbanger. Yeah, man. Like what's up? Like he was out there making it happen. He was snooping Tupac and Biggie and all that. So talk to us about it, man. What was that lifestyle like? How did you end up in that lifestyle?
It was just more so like I said, my mother and father separated. So my father was dating a woman, he ended up dating this lady. She's a good woman. And they was from California. Her son was from Chicago. Yeah. And like they was Crips, you know what I mean? She from the same neighborhood Snoop from, you know what I mean? And they used to like put me in like blue rags. I'm like 6, 7 years old. Wow. Blue bandanas around my face, you know what I mean? Yeah. I ain't even know like what I was doing. I just knew like, you know what I mean? But I didn't end up becoming a Crip. I ended up becoming like a Blood, you know what I mean? Because
so you went the opposite direction.
Yeah, I just felt like it was easier to be a Crip than it was to be a Blood. I feel like you had to like really be somebody. Like Bloods will choose you. You know what I mean? They're not just gonna say you just can't be a Blood. I'm not sure about now, but back in the days when I was coming up, like you really had to be chosen to be a Blood. You know what I mean? And I just felt like it was something that was more respected. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
coming up in that lifestyle. My brother was a gangster disciple. He recently just got out maybe about 4 months ago. He did 21 years in San Quentin in California.
Woo! What?
He just came home doing a long, you know what I mean? Long stretch, you know what I mean? He got himself together right now, but Yeah, just that lifestyle, man. It's serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if you don't have people that's gonna guide you through it, you know what I mean, and you don't have people that's in your life to tell you what's right and what's wrong, or to give you an example what's right and wrong, you go down
Right.
that path too. You know what I mean? But I'm thankful for the God grace and His mercy. You know what I mean? I made it out. You know what I mean? I got stabbed up in the midst of that. It took me almost losing my life for me to get a lifestyle up. You know what I mean? So in the midst of that, I told God, like, if you pull me through it, I got stabbed up. So I lost like 50% of my blood. So
Ooh.
yeah, so in the midst of that, like I told God, I was like, God, I gotta stop everything. I'll stop. Like, just help me make it through this point. Just let me live. I don't want to die. And He pulled me through, and I've been on fire for the Lord ever since. I said I'm leaving the lifestyle alone. You know what I mean? I'm not taking that
What?
for. You know what I mean?
My G. Like, I mean, yo, I've never been stabbed. You know, I thank God for it. I've never been shot. I thank God for that too. But you know, I shoot, but woo,
Yeah,
to have
for real, man.
to experience that. So, you had your experience. You got stabbed. You know, and you were like, you lost 50% of your blood, and you were just like, God, if you bring me out of this, I promise I'll change. Like that's kind of what happened, right? Like I promise. You made a commitment to change, and you've been changed ever since.
Yeah. Prior to that, though, like maybe I want to say a month, 2 months before that situation, 3 months before that situation happened, I was in the studio and I was recording, and I was still in the street. I was still like living in the world, doing stuff. And I was in the studio recording. I just felt like an urge, like go home, like something was like go home. So I'm in the studio, people lighting up weed, they smoking, drinking, we all having a good time. About to start recording, and my man was like, I gotta go. He like, what you mean? We just got here, like we paying for studio time, like we about to record. I'm like, nah, I gotta go. So I rolled out. I end up coming home, and my mom, I brought up to the house, and it was like ambulance all in front of my house. And I rode in the house. I walked in the house. My mother was on the ground, like, and the EMT was trying to revive her. Like she died from a massive heart attack. I was so late that a cigarette, she was a cigarette was still burning right there. You know what I mean? Like I just missed her before she passed on. And a couple months after that, I got stabbed up. And then while I'm in the hospital, my father's in the hospital fighting cancer, dying from cancer. So I got to call my father and tell him, like, hey, Dad, like, I'm in the hospital. I got stabbed up. And he's, like, basically on his deathbed. You know what I mean? And he passes on. And then after that point, I was homeless for, like, 4 years, sleeping outside. You know what I mean? Just in the streets, moving around. You know what I mean? But like I said, God provided, man, through this time, man. I'm still here. That's why I got such a great love for the youth. You know what I mean?
Man, bruh. I mean, I had to put you on a solo screen because that was everything that you were saying was just so powerful. And I still got you on a solo screen, so I want you to be able to communicate, to continue to communicate. But that's a tough situation. How old were you when all this stuff was happening?
When I got stabbed, I think I was like 25.
So you're like 25.
Yeah.
So at 25, you lost your mom.
Mm-hmm.
You got stabbed. Your dad was your father was dying from cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Now are you both your parents deceased now?
Yeah, they deceased now. Yep. They died. My mother died, and then my father died like 3 months after that.
Wow, bro. How did that impact your life?
Man, just a lot. I just didn't understand what God was trying to do. I felt like, you know what I mean? Like when you live in, that's why I try to tell the youth, like when you live a lifestyle that's crazy, that's not good, it don't always affect you. You know what I mean? God can take certain people away from you as a punishment for what you're doing and how you live. And I'm not saying that's why God took my parents, but that's how I felt. And then I started like living with regret, saying like, dang, all the times I was like in and out the house, I could have been spending time with my mom. Saying every time she would sit there and like have her wine and her cigarette, she'd be like, come talk to me. And I'd be like, man, I'm too busy. I gotta keep moving. I got this going on and this going on. And it just made me like think back and think like, dang, like I wasted my whole life like ripping around the streets when I could have been here, like spending time with my mom and my family and my father and stuff like that. So yeah, it hurt a lot, man. You know what I mean? And God put me in that place and just molded me into the man I am today. And I'm just thankful that I'm here, and I just want to touch people and use my testimony to let people know, man, like cherish the people that you got around. Like no matter the situation, no matter the circumstances, the beef that y'all got, like make it right. Like if y'all in bad standings, like make it right. At least get it off your chest so you ain't had no regrets. You know what I mean? And me being the man that I am now, then versus the man who I was before, I had a lot of animosity towards my father. You know what I mean? And while he was in the down on his deathbed, I was able to talk to him and come visit him and tell him I'm sorry. You know what I mean? He apologized as well, and I was able to make peace with that. You know what I mean? And when he did pass on, it felt good. Like, you know what? I got a chance to tell him I was sorry, and he told me he loved me. I told him I love him, and it's all right. You know what I mean? That burden was lifted off, man.
Yeah, bruh, that is like just hearing it, man. My heart is it's heavy, but not in a bad way. You know, it's heavy because as you're saying that, you know, I am thinking about your son. I'm thinking about, you know, my son. I'm thinking about the young men who we embrace as our sons. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about all of these different things and these different young men that we'll come in contact with, and then I reflect back to the world watching the murder of George Floyd, you know, and I can think back to that feeling that you have of like, you know, living your life and having that regret of, man, while I was out here running these streets, I could have been spending time with my mom. While I was out here running these streets, you know, I could have been spending time with my father, you know. And then the conversation I had with you the other day, and you're talking about how close you were with DMX. Mm-hmm. And the relationship that you had, like you guys actually had like a personal relationship, right?
Yeah. Like he was calling me, like he used to call me from jail. He called me from jail like numerous of times. Like when he got caught impersonating FBI agents, he called me from jail and was basically like, "Yo, like don't believe like everything you hear in the news, like you know what I mean?" And
yeah,
it's crazy. And he had called the day after he got out of it, when he got out of jail from that first situation. The Def Jam office called me and they was like, "Yo, like we trying to sign you, but like he found you as an artist, so if he could turn around and sue us if we end up like trying to reach out to you as far as contracts." I was in a rough place with my music, so they really couldn't do nothing. They was like, "Your mixtape is floating around the Def Jam office and like we trying to sign you, but we can't do that because X out here wilding." You know what I mean? They basically telling me like I shouldn't make that move with him, but like 2 years from now, like come back and talk to me, we'll go from there. But a lot of stuff transpired in the midst of that. You know what I mean? So X was living his life. He was doing him. You know what I mean? I haven't spoke to him in a while. You know what I mean? But it kind of hurt my heart when I seen him because like it's like a real person that you know. You know what I mean? Like I don't talk to him often, but it's like we had a bond and connection that, you know what I mean? He's seen something in me that, you know what I mean, that I was hoping that the people to see in me as well. He took my dream, he seen something in my dream, like, yo, like I'm gonna change your life. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give you opportunity. You know what I mean?
So with your how did you guys create that relationship? You know, I'm pretty sure people who are listening and watching are just curious. Like, man, like, okay, so you knew DMX. Like, how did you? I know you gave the mixtape, you saw your mixtape, but how did your relationship go from just like this kid is fire and I want to bring him in and I want to get him, you know, get him out here and get his music out here, to him calling you from prison like, hey, don't believe the hype? Like how did that relationship matriculate?
Basically, he saw, I think he's seen a little bit of himself in me. You know what I mean? Because he used to call me his little protege. Like, you my little protege, like you my protege. You know what I mean?
Was he barking at you? It was like, you my little protege.
Like people don't understand. Like that's how he is. Like that's how he talks. Like,
that's how he was barking at you though. Like he was barking.
He ain't gonna bark, but like he's very aggressive to talk. Like how he rap, that's how he interact. And how he talk.
Hey, no, but I'm just saying, like I could just imagine you on the phone, like, yo, my G, my little protege.
I'm so shocked. Like I'm around my friends, like we on the block, like we on the block.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got DMX on my phone. Like, they looking at me like, bro, like, you got X on the phone. Like you talking to them, and they just looking like, yeah. I'm like, you know what I mean? So my ego, I was just like, yeah, like I got DMX trying to sign me. But
if you was my boy, honestly, if you was my boy, I would have been like, that ain't DMX. Make him bark. I need to hear him bark. Like I'd hear like, get him, dog. No, let me quit, man. We love you, DMX. We praying for you, bro. I know I'm joking and laughing, but yeah. So basically, he saw something in you and wanted to try to help you get to that next level.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, he's been dealing with things over time that really kind of it blocked you in a way, because
God was definitely blocked. He was blocking every situation that happened. God was blocking it.
Yeah.
It was crazy because I grew up with a lot of like rappers like I don't know if you're familiar with the jump dude Fat Trail,
Yeah.
Wale. Like I know these
Yeah.
people personally. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
grew up from
yeah.
the neighborhood. Like I know them I knew them since I knew Fat Trail since he was like 14. You know what I mean? And Wale me and Wale went to the same high school. So we
Okay.
were the same people, you know what I mean? So I was
Now,
always in the area.
was Wale always nice like that, or did it develop over time?
Wale, like he was, the thing about it with him, he had a gift. The thing about it with him is he just was rapping about something different. Where everybody was talking about street stuff, he was talking about like my SB dunks and my shoes is fresh, like
Yeah.
So it was a different lane, something fresh that people ain't really heard, and he capitalized. Shout out to Kenny Burns. Kenny Burns was a big influence to him. DJ Alizé too as well. Prince Dejour, all them big prominent DJs in the DMV area. People, if you from the area, you know exactly who they are. You know what I mean? They saw the gift in them. You know what I mean? And
I got you. Dang, bro. So you actually have had the opportunities to, like, one, you've been in the right circles. Two, you've had the right relationships. Three, you've had opportunities to move forward. And then four, there was a block that was there. Now I tell everybody, every delay works to my favor. Every delay. And we were having a conversation the other day, and you definitely said something to that effect. You were like, man, God knew what he was doing by not letting me get into the industry, because I would have messed it all up. And that meant a lot, and then to know your relationship with DMX, again, our heart goes out to his family, and, my prayers and my heart are with you as well, bro. Cause I know how I would feel, if that was somebody who I knew personally who experienced that, and it's the thing that stood out to me is that your one thing was like, I'm sure that he had a chance to get his heart right with God. I just pray that, he either comes out of this, or everyone is at peace with it. And people are going to say what they want to say. They're going to hit on it. I mean, honestly, drug addiction is a disease. Once you get that taste, once you get it in your system, that impression is made, that imprint is on your mind, your endorphins don't fire the same. And unfortunately, he didn't really take to all of the help that was out there that was given. And I know that he tried. It's just that he had been pushed so far in, and we don't know his story. We don't know why he kept pulling back, but I definitely applaud that. So let's touch on this. Let's go back to the George Floyd piece, and the anniversary of his death is coming up. I personally am going to be doing something on the anniversary of his death with a company. I'm also going to be having the other authors who were involved with me, as I can get in contact with them and get them on board to come on, Go Do Something Live, and let's talk about Dear Fear Men. How do we, and I'm just transitioning this, how did you feel, my guy, about that situation when you saw what happened with George Floyd as a Black man, as a father? How did you feel? What were your emotions? What were your thoughts?
My emotion, man, I was angry like everybody else. You know what I mean? But it's like me growing up in the DMV and DC and Maryland area, you know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm numb to it, but I am. You know what I mean? Like I know how to move when the police are around. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is, like, you can't be a person, you know what I mean, that's too loud and obnoxious when it comes to the police. You know what I mean? You gotta, yes sir, yes officer. And it's not more so about being a punk or being scared. It's like, I'm gonna play, this is chess, not checkers. You know what I mean? And like, you got a badge and a gun, and you know what I mean? You're gonna abuse your authority, whether you a good cop or a bad cop. We human beings. You know what I mean? And people get shot, kids get killed out here a lot. You know what I mean? And it's just it's sad, because 9 times out of 10, the people who getting killed is babies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's babies. Like a young boy, I think he was like 16, running from the police, and he reached in his pocket and pulled something out. I think it was like I forgot, it was a fake gun. I don't know if it was a fake gun or some type of device, and they ended up shooting him in the chest, like 3 times in the chest.
Bro.
You know, and it was on camera, and it's like, people out here, we irritated with it. You know what I mean? It's like that George Floyd didn't do nothing but throw more gas on top of fuel that's been burning for a very long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back in the day, since Rodney King. You know what I mean? Like, I was able to witness Rodney King days.
Yeah.
So my perception of the police since I was young has always been like, they don't care about us. Like, even now, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not out the lifestyle. I mean, I'm out the lifestyle, but I'm not in the lifestyle.
You're still a Black man.
Right. You see what I'm saying? So when the police ride behind me, you got me thinking like, I'm moving, like, I ain't trying to move. It's like, I'm thinking,
Right.
like, you ain't got no gun in the car no more. Like, but it's just the mentality that you got to be safe, and to raise up a black boy in this world right now, it's tough because you got to teach him. You don't want to teach him the streets, but you want to teach him how to move.
Yeah.
Move in a way that you won't draw attention to yourself, or
Yeah.
you won't become a target. That's why I don't have dreads. That's why I don't be doing all that baggy hoodie stuff. You know what I mean? It's not because I like stuff like that. It's just that, like, I'm not about to make myself a target. You know what I mean? I try to keep the haircut and everything.
You actually just hit on something. As black men, and this is something that I've been communicating a lot with a lot of people, there's a conversation that we have with our sons. I don't know if you saw that movie American Skin. Bruh, you gotta check out American Skin. You gotta check out American Skin. That movie, it is the black father experience 100%. And the black man experience. And it's so heartfelt. It is a great movie. That's all I can say. They did a great job with that movie. It actually, I watched it around the same time that I watched Judas and the Black Messiah. At the Fred Hampton story. And it's like, after watching those two and thinking about the George Floyd situation, for me, like yourself, as a black man growing up, people talk to me and I don't sound or look like where I came from. Mm-hmm. I did come up in a single parent home. I am a man who does not know my father. So when I embrace these young men as if they're my sons, and looking at the possibility of having my own, I am looking at how can I protect them? How can I love them? How can I guide them? What example can I set? And just like you, when I'm driving, if I see the police, my heart kind of races a little bit. It's not I ain't no punk. It's not about being a punk. It's using wisdom. It's years and years and years of being pulled over and stopped and, abused by the police and guns held to your head and, thrown in cuffs for no reason. Now, thank God I've never been arrested. I thank God for that. Thank God I've never had to experience the downsides I have experienced the downsides. I've been beat up by police before. I've been kind of, and those are things that I talk about in my book. Like one experience I had, I talk about it in the book. As a matter of fact, I'll make sure that I pop that up there in just a second. But in Dear Fear Men, I talk about my experience. And there's other men that are in this book. So Phil Stark, he talks about, his sons and the fear that he had of his son walking out of the house and knowing the dangers that his son is going to face as he's out here in the world, and he's walking around. And that's a tough thought. In my heart, I am afraid of the young men as they step out and they get ready to go into the world. I see these young men every day. I'll tell you this, man, there's something about just the black male experience that's hard to really explain and convey to somebody who's never lived it. I see everything that's happening. I know the brown experience. I know the Asian experience. I see all these things that are happening, but it's something when you live in a society that is derived around holding you down. And the more you study and the more you research, you find out that there's the systematic racism, that's been going on. There is the institutional racism that's going on out there. I had a conversation with a friend of mine, a white guy, and we were doing business together, and he made a comment, and he said, I don't understand why people say that there's all this systemic racism. There's not systemic racism. We had a black president. There are black judges out there. There are black, black congressmen and congresswomen out there. There are black lawyers and doctors. And I'm like, yeah, there are. But in my mind, I'm like, those are the exception. Those are the ones who had to fight a little harder to get out, where there's a lot of us who have experienced so much. Like if you look at that George Floyd situation, this man, if you follow the trial, you find that he was in a place to get his phone fixed. He was very friendly with everyone. He was very respectful. People have said this over and over and over again about the whole situation. But because he was a big black man, it was a threat. So, for me, I'm working out, I'm doing things like I try to make sure that when I'm in the presence of the authority or the law, that I present myself in a way where I am at as little of a threat as possible. Mm-hmm. But it's not about how I present myself, it's how they see me. That's the conversation that we have to have with our sons. Is it's not about how you present yourself, it's how they see you. Right. Because as an educated black man, you're more of a threat because you know the law. You know what's next. In American Skin, it kind of hits on that as well, bro. And I mean, this whole conversation, we can spend another 20 minutes just talking about this experience. But I'm definitely going to have you come back on here, man. We're going to have something where we just talk about fathers and sons and the Black experience, you know. So I wanted to make sure that people just got to know you, the real Derrick Jackson, you know. So what I want you to do, man, just take a couple minutes, tell the people, you know, just leave them with a good word real quick, you know, like just a couple minutes. Let them know how they can find you. And I'll make sure I put that stuff up on the screen, and then I'll jump back in here, man, and we'll wrap it up. But I'm gonna turn it over, everyone, to my new good friend, little brother, somebody I'm gonna take under my wing, that I'm gonna help get to that next level. The real Derrick Jackson. It is actually the real Derrick Jackson, y'all. I know that it was a play on words, but it was with good reason. I really appreciate him being my guest today, but I want him to go ahead and take a couple minutes and just talk with you. So let me dismiss myself, and Derrick, you take it away.
All right, everybody. I want to say thank you, everybody, for the youth, and stay strong out there. You know what I mean? It's this world can be overwhelming. You know what I mean? Just trust God, and if you're in a rough place, in a rough era in your life, where you feel hopeless and down, like, just know that God gonna use that pain for a purpose. You know what I mean? And rejoice into that pain. Like, it's as hard as it may seem at the moment right now, you're gonna look back at it and say it was good that I went through that. You know what I mean? We go through certain things in life, and we don't know the future. We're not the Lord, so we don't see why we're going through these particular things. But in the end, it's for our good. You know, God said all things work good for those who called according to His purpose. You know what I mean? So in due time, God gonna reveal your purpose. You know what I mean? And just walk in it. You know what I mean? Don't think about money. As a man heart is, so is he. So the things that you put in your heart, the things you got in your heart, you're gonna become that. So just lead with love and love with love. You know what I mean? And you're gonna be all right. But I appreciate y'all taking time to hear me out. Like I said, it's the real Derrick Jackson. You can catch me on IG. If you can find me on YouTube, just type in the real Derrick Jackson. Subscribe to my channel. You know what I mean? Follow brother Jarvis. I appreciate the time. I just want to say I love y'all. Stay motivated.
My guy. So everybody, you see it. This is my guy, the real Derrick Jackson. I got his Facebook information up on the screen right now because I know we had his IG up there before, and he told you how to find him on YouTube, the real Derrick Jackson. D, just hold on for a second, because once we go off the air, I'm going to communicate with you some more. But I'm going to go ahead and jump into this solo platform really quick and just give you guys a little closeout. Man, thank you all so much for jumping on here. I know that I mentioned something about the Dear Fear book. And so I have the Dear Fear Man book right here. I have it right here. And there's a lot of great information. Actually, some of the things that we talked about today, myself and Derrick Jackson, you will actually be able to see the same stuff and read about the same stuff, you know, and really get a very deep look at who these men are, and the Black male experience in the book. And get your copy at jarvishenderson.com. You want to make sure that you get your copy at jarvishenderson.com. Let me say it again, jarvishenderson.com. You want to get your copy of Dear Fear Men. Man, it's powerful. I'm actually about to do a huge campaign where we're going to get 10,000 books out. And when we hit 10,000, I am going to be a blessing to a family. We're either going to give a family a brand new car, or we're going to cover their rent / mortgage for them for 6 months to a year, just depending on how that works out. But we are definitely doing it. So I want to encourage you, go get your copy, and you must buy the copies from jarvishenderson.com. Otherwise, I can't count them towards the 10,000 in order to be able to be a blessing to these families. Everything that I do is to give something back to people. It's not about me. And that's why I wanted to tell you about the book. But I really am so grateful that I was able to have Derrick on with me today. He said some things that were like, wow, you know, and we got deep into some topics that I want to go deeper in. And there's some things that we communicated on that I want to have him on again, and we will. But you want to make sure you go follow him at the real Derrick Jackson. That is on IG, and on Facebook, he is found at Derrick Jackson. Just type in Derrick Jackson. He said YouTube is the real Derrick Jackson as well. So he's made it very easy for you to find him. If you're looking to book him for any events to have them come out and speak to your youth, definitely feel free to connect with me and I can get you some information on them. If not, just go straight to his social media platforms and they'll go ahead and take care of it from there. But this is your boy Jarvis, AKA Mr. Impact. I'm on here. You have been on here with me on Go Do Something Live. And I just want you guys to know that I have absolutely enjoyed this entire conversation with Derrick Jackson. It was a great thing. It was absolutely a great thing. We had a good time. We had some good deep thoughts. And I want to leave you with this. Every single one of you matter. You were born on purpose for a purpose. Each and every one of us is going to impact the lives of 10,000 people in our life without even trying. The question is, when you impact those lives of those 10,000 people, and it's going to be much more than that. That's just the ones that you impact without trying. Are they going to be the ones that run around and wish that they never met you? Or are they going to be the ones that want you in their space over and over and over again because you left such a great impression with them that they're ready to take you to the next level? I know which one I want to be. Hey, again, this is your boy Jarvis here, and you are with me on Go Do Something Live. We are about to get out of here, and I'll tell you this, have an amazing day, and just know that you are loved, you matter, and that you got this. All right, have a blessed one, y'all. This is your boy Jarvis. We out.